Oh, we are so back, people. We are so freaking back. Welcome in to the Back to 12 podcast. I am RC, the man on your screen opposite of me in that badass bomber Texas Tech jacket that he found at school is the guy that, well, we were actually talking about this right before we pressed record. Second all time in receiving touchdowns at Texas Tech. One of the GOATs to ever wear the scarlet and black, Lyle Leong Jr. Mr. AKA only 4 shots, right?
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
How's it going, brother?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, man? It's good to be back with my brother, man. Get to talk. So, anytime I get to come on here and hang out, like I said, man, I had to keep a close eye on, they ran Skip out of there. So I'm just trying to make sure that we are able to stay together, man, try to tell them it's a package deal. So I know what they're trying to do at ESPN. I've been screening calls from those guys, and I'm just glad to get to do another season with my brother here. How you doing?
Yeah. I've been great. Turned down ESPN, obviously, /S right there for those that know. Once I saw Skip step down, I was like, hey, I don't want to be going to work for them. They're just not getting the ratings. I figured, why not stay at home and do it with the guy where, we started from the bottom, like Drake said. I listen, I'm on the Kendrick side, people. Don't come at me. I'm just saying, I respect the music. That song's a banger. We play bangers here. And on today's podcast, this is going to be a banger podcast. You see what I did there, Lyle? That's a professional segue, at least kind of. I at least say semi-pro. Shout out to Will Ferrell. We're going to talk about standouts that Lyle has been at camp. He's gone multiple times. And if you don't believe me, go watch Joey McGuire's scrimmage number 2 press conference, and you'll see his little kiddos running in the background there. So you've got that. We'll talk about breakout candidates, both on the offensive and defensive side. We'll give one of each from each of us. We'll also discuss, bold predictions. And then, of course, everybody's favorite thing leading into week 1 against Abilene Christian. It wouldn't be a Back to 12 podcast if we didn't give our record predictions. I've already got mine here on the channel, Lyle, but the people have to hear from you on yours. And before we get too far into this, it's been a while, people. Lyle's back, though. If you're excited to see one of the GOATs back on the podcast, you better like this video. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be back during football season, people. He'll be back, hopefully wearing that badass jacket a lot more, because I'm not going to lie, I've told him already, I'm very jealous that he has it. But, Lyle, you've been to how many practices now?
I think I've been to 4 practices.
Okay. Does that include a scrimmage too?
No, 5. Sorry, 5 in total. I've been to 5 in total.
Okay. So I think you're the perfect person to ask. I think we're going to jump right into this because I know what people want to hear from you most about, and it's the wide receivers. Of course it is. Of course it's the wide receivers, right? You and I were probably the most, I don't want to say harsh, but I think just realistic about the wide receiver position last year. You more so than me. You persuaded me onto your side where it was like, hey, like, these guys just don't have it right now. Like, they have to go out and address this off season. And I think they did in a large way, right? You go out and you land 2 Power 5 wide receivers that were starting for their respective programs, and Josh Kelly and then Caleb Payday Douglas. Don't forget the payday, Lyle. Don't forget the payday. It's not just a candy bar, it's a lifestyle.
Yes,
then you've also got, obviously, I don't know, the biggest talking point maybe in Texas Tech football since really Patrick Mahomes potentially, and 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson. You return Coy Aiken, who we both like. You've got Dre McCray out there, who I think will be used better. But overall, in your opinion, Lyle, how do the wide receivers look, and how do you feel about what Texas Tech did to address the wide receivers this offseason?
I think it's a 2-part question for me, or a 2-part answer for me. I think first and foremost, what Kitley's done in the past. I don't want to speak on the future for the season starts, but what he's done in the past is with that tight end group, number 1, and add in my man Jalen. He's a problem, and those other guys is already good, but he's a problem. So first and foremost, that group right there adds a different element a different element to an offense and makes it hard. They can line them out, they can line them in, and even those other guys like Mason. Mason was great. Even Trey, he's a young freshman. Trey Jackson. I mean, that's a nice looking group. So I think that group is physical. They're strong. They're fast. They can catch, and it's depth. I think for the biggest thing is just having depth. And at Texas Tech, I feel like even when I played, our depth wasn't huge, but that's one thing that I felt like they've done a great job here. And then moving to the receiver group, shout out Josh, he's him. And you were right. You said that. I didn't believe. I'm a believer. But at the end of the day, he still got to show me on Saturday. And when I see on Saturday, I'll be all in. But as far as practice, I'm a believer on that guy. I think even Jordan Brown is a sleeper of the group. I really do. He made some plays. I think he's going to do more than what people think. And I think he's a sleeper. I think Mr. Payday, he's really, really good too. He's big, he's physical. And I know I gave him a hard time last year, but Dre looked good out there. Coy looked good. I mean, they got a good group, and even those young guys, they got a good group. Could stay in there. They got open, made plays. So I'm excited to see them come do their thing. I think this is a better group than last year. I don't want to go and say this is the best group. I know we kind of dabbled in that last year. I wouldn't go that far, but this is a really good group that I think is going to do great. And so I'm excited to see these groups on these one-on-one matchups like we saw last year. I think people are going to come and try and see what they're about. And like I said, don't get me wrong, the first 3 games, I don't believe there's anybody that can come. They better not come try to do that, or it's going to be a long day for them. But when we get into those Cincinnati's, those West Virginias, those Oklahoma States, then we kind of get to see what these young men are about. But I think they've done a great job. You know how I feel about Kitley. And, I get, people give me a lot of slack, but I love him. I think he's freaking phenomenal. I think he does a great job with the things he has. But I think they've done a great job overall. Even that quarterback room is deep, and I think they've done a good job. I think depth was the biggest thing as far as, at position. I think they've done a good job of getting people that make people compete. And if someone goes down, next person comes in. I feel really good about the next person up.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too for me is I don't know if this is the most talented team Texas Tech has had in the past decade, but it's by far the deepest, right? And you're starting to see those waves of Joey McGuire recruits and their impact on the recruiting trail really start to pay dividends, and maybe not starting roles. There's some that they're obviously going to start at, but the depth that you talk about is absolutely critical because you think about what Texas Tech has done the past few years. And yes, I understand the quarterback is the most important one, but even depth at other positions was needed. You think about when Mason Tharp went down last year, you didn't have Baylor Cupp either. And you had guys like Jaden York at the tight end spot. And the tight end group, people, I'm glad you brought that up first, Lyle. Truthfully, I am so glad you brought up the tight ends because you do not know how many people are in the comments or my mentions on Twitter saying, I'll believe it when I see it when they use the tight ends. Listen, this is not your typical tight end group, people. No. This is different in the sense of this is arguably the best tight end group Texas Tech has had from a talent perspective.
I'll take it a step further, and I say it is.
There you go.
I take away the argument. It is. And that's no shade to
they're going to be used, right? They're going to be used. Yes. I mean, the reason they weren't used last year, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Lyle, was because first and foremost, they were hurt. And then second, you had to use them as an extra blocker on the offensive line because the offensive line was so bad. So you didn't really get to see their true skill sets. This year, I don't think the offensive line is going to be leaps and bounds better. Like, they're not going to be a great offensive line. But even if they just get close to average, that's a big deal, in terms of how bad they were.
And I want to say, because we have, when you do your late night chats, which I love, and anybody –
they will be back this year. They will be back.
Get juiced up on. I want to apologize. The later the night goes, the more.
No, I love it. That's what they're there for.
But y'all got to understand too. Like the guys that they're recruiting, it still comes down to those cats doing what they're supposed to do. And that's what, as Red Raider fans, y'all got to understand. If you go back and look at that 08 team, like there's 3 stars and 2 stars on the whole team. Joey McGuire has recruited way better than Mike Leach if you're going off of stars and rivals and hype. He gets 4 stars, 3 stars all the time. When we were there, we had Crabtree, I believe, Louis Vasquez, Graham Harrell, and other than that, everyone else, I believe, was 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. So that's the one thing I want to throw out there. You guys got to understand, just because they're a 4-star, I played with many 4 stars that were poo cheese, and I played with many 2 stars that are freaking monsters. So y'all got to understand that at the end of the day, these cats have got to show up and do what they are doing. So don't get me wrong, you got to make coaching adjustments. But like I said, when you go get paid $25,000 a year and you're on scholarship and you got new buildings and you get food whenever you want it, you better show up and play. So I just want to give that disclaimer out to you fans out there, and I'm a fan too now. But those guys got to show up too. So make sure you distribute that evenly, coaching and kids. So there's a lot of plays as a coach that I call that suck that good players make them work. So I think that's a big one too. And I think that Coach McGuire, when we're talking about recruiting, not to go off track, if you look at him and Mike Leach, he's recruited way better cats than Mike Leach did, way better than Tommy Tuberville, way better than Matt Wells. So I think he's done a fantastic job. But like at the same time, just because you're a 4-star don't mean you play like that on Saturdays. So these cats got to show up and show out. So sorry to interrupt you, brother. There.
No, you're good. Well, speaking of a high-ranked recruit, I think people want your opinion on Micah. And I want to preface what we're about to talk about because I think, and I've been guilty of this. I'll be hand up. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it in the sense of when I see a 5-star wide receiver, I just get excited. Right? Like there's part of me where it's just like, and rightfully so, but I also think that you have to understand he is a freshman coming in and playing at a Power 4 level. Do I think Micah Hudson is a really good football player? Duh. Do I think he's going to come out and break records as a freshman? No, I don't. But do I think he's going to be an impact player for the Red Raiders? Yes. So I wanted to lay that out there. And then Lyle, I just kind of want your thoughts on Micah. He's coming back from an injury. You've seen him a few times. He's the talk of camp, right? Like it's either him, Taj, or Micah. Like, I mean, like that's just really what it is, right? And so what are your thoughts on the limited time you've seen Micah? Because I think that it's hard to totally, say like, hey, he's going to be, week 1, he's going to come out and he's going to be everything you want. I don't think that that's realistic for an 18-year-old, regardless of if they're a 5-star, right? But I do think he's going to be an impactful player. Do you think the same from what you've seen, or?
Yeah, and like I said, before I get started, as a freshman, he's 10 times better than me. So I want to throw that out there before we start. But like I said, I think he's a great receiver. His highlights are phenomenal. I think he has the ability to, he has the ability to score 12 touchdowns this season. He has the ability. Now, if he does it, that's a different story.
I'm taking notes right now for you.
Yeah, take them notes, brother, and scratch. Make sure you have some white out in case they don't. But I think he has the ability to score 12 touchdowns. Now, will he? Do I think so? No. I think he's explosive. He can get off the press. He can catch the ball. He can do all that. But I think he's on the learning curve too of realizing it. And that's one thing as a receiver I had to learn. Like, dudes are faster, dudes are stronger, dudes are smarter. And I think the biggest thing is smarts. Like, especially when I got to go to the NFL and I play guys and I'm like, my favorite story I ever tell is when I went against Champ Bailey. Like, Champ was telling me my routes. And I scooted in, I scooted out, I stood still, I fixed my feet. He still knew what I was doing every time. He's called me young grasshopper and telling me what routes I was running while he was jogging to where I was supposed to be. So I think this that learning curve of those guys are smarter. They know if you line up way wide, you're probably not going outside. So I think it's kind of understanding your alignment, understanding how to kind of be smart in your own way. Like I said, I've seen him make some phenomenal catches. I've seen him drop some easy balls. So I think it's one of those things. He's just going to grow and get better and better. But if he's everything that was advertised, I 100% agree with that. I just think people got to understand as he comes to a better place, you got to adjust. I said the same thing about Dre last year, and I love Dre. I want to say that Dre is probably one of my favorite people on the team, him and B Mort. But Dre comes to talk to me, and I was hard on him last year. You know that I was hard on him, and he came and talked to me and was like, "Hey man, appreciate you," and he's gotten better. But I think I don't want to say he's gotten better. I think he's just adjusted to where he came from. He was the fastest person. When you come up to the Power Five, you're not going to be the fastest person 90% of the time. And if you are, you're a Jakeem Grant, Tyreek Hill. That's very rare that you're just going to run past everybody on every play. So I think it's going to take time to adjust and get better. But like I said, if he scored 12 touchdowns, would I get on this podcast and be like, oh, I can't believe it? No, I can believe it. But I think he's going to have to grow. And I think what helps him too in a big case is going to help him is Mr. Kelly. I think Mr. Kelly, like I said, 10 times is him. And I think that's the part that people fail to realize. When three people's on Crabtree, you get your one-on-ones. My sophomore year, no one guarded me because everybody's on Crabtree. But senior year, I got the two people, and other people were getting a chance to do their one-on-one. So I think it's working in his favor with the receivers we have. And then like the second part with depth, when you got 4 good receivers and you bring somebody in like Dre, and Dre could be a starter, I don't know, but you bring him in, then someone's tired and Dre's running down the field with all his energy. It makes it tough. So I think he's everything as advertised. I think we got to be understanding and know he's going to drop some balls. I assure you. He's going to get some routes where he doesn't get open, but he's also going to make some phenomenal plays. He's also going to get open. And like I said, he's a physical cat too. So that was probably the biggest thing for me blocking. Like I didn't block to my senior year. So he's a freshman and he's blocking people. I think that plays a big part in his game. So I think the physicality of Texas Tech has gone up. And like I said, it's Coach McGuire and his staff and his energy. Like I said, I copied him. I posted a picture the other day. I put energy on my hat because I love it. He went out there with the energy, and I'm like, dang, I gotta up my game, come out here, And but I think he's everything that's advertised. But man, I hope these fans and everybody, man, is also patient with him and don't put him in a, and people don't realize even with Crabtree, his freshman year, he didn't play. There's really his sophomore year when he came before he started doing work. And, something happened where he didn't get to play. And sometimes I look back, if he did play that freshman year like he was supposed to, would he have won the Blitnikoff? And that's not to say he wouldn't, and I'm not going to say it because he might be listening to this, but, you never know what would happen if he just came off that fresh year. That year makes a big difference each year you go. So I just hope everybody understands that and knows his potential. Like I said, he's everything is advertised. So I'll probably snap if I hear somebody say he's trash or anything like that, or why are we paying him 5-star? So just beware. And if it's a night chat, get off because I'm coming for you.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Let's transition, because I think when you look at like a season starting, right, and you want to have these guys that are like, okay, who's going to take that next step, right? Who's going to be I don't want to say like a building block, but maybe like a linchpin, I think is probably a better way to say it for the offense and defense. I'll go first because I know I'm putting you on the spot here. For those that don't know, when it comes to the podcast, I give Lyle no information because I think that that's best for you guys. I just want his literal gut reaction to the questions I'm going to ask him because I think that's when he's at his best. For offense, my breakout candidate, you've already mentioned him 3 times. It's Josh Kelly. I get what people are about to say, and they're thinking, how can he be a breakout? Listen, what he did at Washington State last year was phenomenal. He had, 900 yards. He played with Cam Ward, now the starting quarterback for Miami. But Josh Kelly is going to be a breakout, not only for his production, but for what Lyle was talking about earlier in the sense of how he's going to impact the wide receivers around him. I think Josh Kelly truly has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in the Big 12. Lyle, let's play a fun little trivia game here real quick. When was the last time a Texas Tech wide receiver had 1,000 yards in a season?
I would probably say 2016.
You're close. 2018. It was Antinoe Wesley who had 1,400 yards.
That's crazy.
Texas Tech has been known, and rightfully so, for a long time to be the air raid offense, right? Like they pass. And by the way, if you still think that the Big 12 is just pass, and they don't run the ball and play defense, you are obviously not watching the games on Saturday. The league has changed. But that doesn't mean that they don't pass still. I think Josh Kelly will be the first wide receiver for Texas Tech to have 1,000 yards receiving since 2018. And I always liked him at Washington State. I mean, shoot, I was probably the biggest advocate for Texas Tech to go get him in the portal. Outside of those on the staff, I mean, I hyped him up and then some, and I will continue to do so. But there is not a route in the route tree he cannot run. There is not a defender in front of him that he cannot beat in 3 or 4 different ways. Like Lyle said, where it's like one of those deals where Champ Bailey's on the opposite side of him, and I'm not giving any credit in terms of saying there's a corner in the Big 12 on Champ Bailey's level. I'm not disrespecting the Hall of Famer like that. One of the best corners ever, right? But it's vice versa too, right? Josh Kelly's experience, he's going into his 5th year of college football. There are going to be few and far between corners on the opposite side that have played as much football as Josh Kelly, let alone that are as talented as him. Think about if it's one-on-one, I don't know what Behren Morton's thought process is, but I'm not looking anywhere else. If it's one-on-one, that's 75-25, 80-20 to Josh Kelly, okay? I'm throwing the football to him damn near every time there's a one-on-one, regardless. Like, maybe you won't, get what you asked for in terms of reception and the defender has a good play, you tip your cap and move on. I'm going right back to it the next time it's a one-on-one. He is that good, in my opinion. I truly believe he's one of those ones in the sense of a bona fide, legit wide receiver one for Texas Tech. Yeah.
No, I agree. 110%. I also, like I said, I think also payday, man. I think he's also going to be, a problem as well. So
and don't forget the payday, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I'm saying? He needs a sponsor. Sponsor that man, payday. Sponsor that man.
They got money. I mean, to be fair, though, Lyle, what are your thoughts on a payday candy bar?
I love them.
Oh, you love them?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think
where are you gonna put that? You were about to say top what?
Top tier, not top of all time, just top tier.
What are we talking about? Top 5, top 3? What are we doing here?
No, we're not going top 10, but it's just a top tier candy bar.
How many tiers are there to the candy bars? If it's not in the top 10, it's got to be in the top.
I put it on like college football levels. You got your top tier teams.
Oh, okay. But Kit Kat's like professional, all pro type stuff.
I mean, I put them in. I won't say that it's better, but I feel like.
Whoa! What are we doing here?
I feel like it's Alabama. Kit Kat may be Alabama, and a payday might be LSU. Something similar.
Okay, no, that's disrespectful to Kit Kats. That's disrespectful to Kit Kats. What are we doing here? Next you're going to tell me a Milky Way is better than a Kit Kat.
Milky Ways are trash. They would.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, how do we feel? My boy Emo, I love you, bro, but they'd be. Let me not throw names out there. I'm just saying they'd be a lower. They were on the schedule.
Yeah, no, they're an FCS school. Yeah, let's be real about this. Milky Ways are trash. I'll say it. I don't care. I'll stand on business right now about this. Milky Ways are trash. Milky Ways are trash. And if you think otherwise, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror.
Also, Reese's are up there. They're Alabama type.
Are you strictly a Reese's cup guy, or are you going pieces? We're getting sidetracked to hell's end here, but it's okay. This is candy talk now.
Pieces ain't it.
Pieces ain't it. Okay. Have you had these? Have you had the mini cups?
Yeah, I'm with those.
No, those things are gas.
I support those 100%.
Yeah, no, those are. If they ran for political office, I'd vote for them.
Yeah. What I'm saying is Reese's Pieces is like a bad uniform. I mean, they got the potential.
Oh, that's a good call. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. No,
they represent something great, but they're just not it.
I think it's a bad uniform for a good team.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like those. You remember those Texas jerseys that Patrick Mahomes wore with the Texas logo on the side, and it was like blue, red, and white. That's Reese's Pieces.
Yes, to the T.
That's Reese's Pieces, and so I can get behind that logic. I never thought about it like that, but that's really good stuff. We got sidetracked to all hell there. I hope y'all agree with Candy Talk. Shout out to Kit Kat, sponsor the show. But who is your offensive breakout, Lyle? I said Josh Kelly for mine. I know that you mentioned Payday. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Maybe he is your offensive breakout. But who's the guy you think that maybe he's already had a good season, but you think that he's going to take a next step to be a bona fide star? Or maybe it's a guy that, hey, they haven't really shown it yet, but I've seen it at practice the times I've gone. Like that dude can play.
I think mine are, one is Josh. I already said it. I think B. Morton is my second one.
Okay.
And I think my third one is a sleeper. Like, I think Taj is going to break the all-time.
We go. Well, that answers that question. I need to go and write that down in the show doc.
I think he's going to break the all-time record, but I think his backup is a sleeper as well.
Which one are you going with? You going with the freshman or the speedster?
Cameron. And the freshman is about it too. Okay. He got my respect.
So you're high on Cameron?
Yeah, I'm high on Cameron.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
I know it's Cameron. People get off my back. I'm calling him Cameron. I know it's Cameron.
No, it's Cameron. Are you talking about Cameron Valdez? Or are you talking about Cam Dickey? Yeah. Cameron, no. By the way, we have to specify on those, because like I was talking about that with Jacob over on the site. Like Cameron Brown, backup quarterback. Cameron Valdez, Cam Dickey. This is too much for me. We have to, differentiate on the names. So you're talking about Valdez.
Yeah, he's fast. Okay. And that freshman, respect. He's Taj
2.0, right?
Yes, he is.
That's what he looks like.
Yes, he is. So I got nothing but love for my man. But Cameron is I think he's fast. I'll leave it like that. And then for my defensive, I'm saying one that everybody in America has said, but Bryce is my one, and my second one is my cornerback, my young boy, and he's not really young, Braylon.
Oh, Braylon Lux. Okay.
I got Braylon, and then I also got Bryce are my two.
I really like the linebacker room.
I do too.
It's crazy because I remember literally doing a podcast with you last year, and I was over here saying, what the hell are they going to do with the linebacker spot? And rightfully so. Before last year, we didn't know, but now you have three guys you feel pretty damn good about. You got Ben Roberts, Jacob Rodriguez, and obviously Bryce Ramirez.
And some of these young guys, like I said, are not bad at all. But
Justin Horn and Malik Dingle and those guys.
Yeah, not bad. And I watched John Curry being around here.
Oh yeah, great.
All right, yeah. So I think they got cats, but like I said, just making plays, interceptions. These dudes have, Roberts has, Ben has, Jacob has, but Bryce has made some plays. So Bryce there, and then I just think as the season go, you're gonna see Lux get singled up over there, so we can add some help. Or if we need to double somebody, I think Lux is gonna be your guy. Where they're, and AJ McCarty is pretty good too. But if I'm saying breakout, I want to put money on that Mr. Lux will be getting drafted next year.
There you go.
That's how I feel.
I like it. Mine's a young guy that's stepping into big shoes to fill. Well, technically they're small for the animal that he's named after, but big shoes in terms of the production that he had on the football field. Chapman Lewis. I like Chapman. I think Chapman has the potential to be a true difference maker alongside CJ Baskerville. I think they complement each other really, really well at the safety spots. And for those that have listened to me really for all summer long talking about the Tech defense, I think the secondary is really deep. I don't know if they're not the most proven, but they have a lot of young, talented guys in that secondary. And I think the most talented guy that's young in that secondary is Chapman Lewis. As a true sophomore, he will start in Rabbit's place there, I believe, at the strong safety. I always get strong safety and free safety confused with those guys. But at one of the safety positions alongside CJ Baskerville, I think that is a really, really good safety duo back there for the Red Raiders. And so real quick, let me make sure I got yours down, Lyle, because I'm writing all this down for purposes that we can go back and ridicule ourselves if need be. Who's the one you picked? Cameron on offense. Okay. And then on defense, you picked Bryce Ramirez, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep. I like that. I like that for sure.
Well, my number one choice though is B. Morton. I think.
Oh, okay. We'll talk more about that. Why are you so confident in B. Morton?
I think it's two things. Like I said, each year, like when I played my freshman year, the game was ultra fast for me. Like every time that they said hut before I got my eyes ready, the play was over. As my senior year, I felt like plays took 15 seconds to develop. I'm looking around like, what's going on? Where's my boy Potts at? What's happening? So I think as you grow, number one, the game slows down each year for you. Number one, number two, I just think the people that they put around them helps too, and that's one thing, that I always want to give credit to Graham. Graham was phenomenal, but if you go back and look at his receivers, you had Danny Amendola who played in the NFL, you had Crab who won 2 Blitnikoffs, you had Emo who played in the NFL, you had Detron Lewis who played in the NFL,
The
you
offensive
had
line
me.
too, right?
Yeah, offensive line. Louis Vasquez, he's a franchise player. You had Marlon Wynn. You had Rylan Reed. Like those dudes gave up 1 sack. So I just think that's the part we forget. And I tell my quarterbacks this now: when you lose, it's two people's fault. Well, in Texas Tech's case, it's three people's fault. It's quarterback Kitley's fault and McGuire's fault. But most cases, it's just the head coach and the quarterback's fault. But Texas Tech blames my boy all the time.
Good to throw in Kitley there
Yeah,
because it's true. It's true. And I'm part of the reason. I definitely do be blaming him.
So I just think they get the short end of the deal. Like at the same time, you think about 2008. If Crabtree didn't win the Blitnikoff twice, you think of Graham Harrell for Texas Tech. You never think of an offensive lineman or DB or. And so that's the part that comes with it. But like I said, I really think B Moore is got so much people around him to help him. And that's my thing going back to watch. If you watch Patrick Mahomes, don't get me wrong, he's the best quarterback without a doubt. He got some weapons. Tyreek Hill, back in the day, he had Pacheco this year. He had fast cats, and he makes them better. So I'm not saying anything. Like I said, most quarterbacks wouldn't win if they're in Patrick Mahomes' shoes. So there's no – but at the end of the day, you have to have help. You have to have people around you to make plays. And like I said, he's got Travis Kelce as a net. Like Travis Kelce has made a ton of plays for him. So you take Travis Kelce away, do they win 4 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls, however many they win? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if they win those without Travis Kelce. So I just think he has so much around him. Like I said, the O-line, they got to show me. I think Coach McGuire is doing a great job. But
also, that's confusing as hell too.
Yeah. That's my coach McGuire, my real coach that coached me. So let me go back. But I just, like I said, I think that's the fullest test. Do we look past the eye test? Yes. But once again, man, like I said, even with my team, it looks good on Thursday. We're gonna see when we line up on Friday if everybody's out there. So I just think the people around him. I know he has some good linemen in there that I thought looked really good, and so I think that's the stuff that is going to make him have his breakout year.
What's a breakout year look like for you, like in terms of yards? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. How many passing yards, just strictly passing?
How many did B Morton throw last year? You remember?
Not very many. I mean,
it was under 1,000, right?
I mean, I think it was like 1,200. I can look it up real quick. I mean, it's been a minute since Texas Tech has obviously had a quarterback that's played the whole season, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the issue. But I mean, he threw for about 1,700 yards last year.
Did he?
Think about it though, he was hurt.
Yeah.
From basically the jump, right? In terms of he got hurt that West Virginia game and then played through it. But are you thinking like double that? You thinking like 3,500 passing yards?
I say three Gs.
Okay.
I think he'll have 3 Gs and higher.
Are you not going higher because of Taj?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna run the ball. They can't sit out here and throw. Kitley will not. They will not let Kitley make it if he sit out here. If this man don't break the all-time record, he will not. Here we go 12-0 with that championship. If Taj don't break this record, I can only imagine what these folks would be talking about. We could worse.
Yeah, that's probably actually
and also just B Moore is injury prone. Like he's been hurt every year. So
yeah,
I love him to death. Like I said, man, I really do. Probably my favorite player on the team as a person, as a player. But he's been injury prone, and to me, honestly, a lot of that has to do with your O-line missing some blocks. You running for your life. But like I said, it's just I've been in the game a long time, coaching and playing. It's just some people are just they just injury.
Sadly, that's just how it is. Yeah.
I think Tyler's like that. Like, I know he went to Oregon State. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out by week 3 because he's been.
Oh, you mean Louisville?
I mean Louisville. Sorry,
Yeah.
I mean Louisville. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's hurt in week 3. And it's like, I hope not. I think he's a great kid, great quarterback. But I mean, he's been hurt. That's why he's out in his third school.
Yeah, third school. Yeah,
third school, and I think a lot of that has to do with injuries because he won the spot.
Sure. He'd be in the league already.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for injuries, for sure. I agree with that. I mean, I always hate to project injuries because I think this is Morton's breakout season too, but it's also, I don't think it's all predicated on him. I think he can ball out, but kind of like you're talking about. I mean, if the offensive line is the same as it was last year, it's going to be a long year for Texas Tech. I mean, that's just how it is, right? So definitely interesting from that point of view. All right. Bold predictions now, Lyle. Bold freaking predictions. Because let's face it, that's what we do here on podcasts. You have to have bold predictions. And so you've already answered one, and I don't even think it's that bold. Will Taj become the all-time rushing leader in Texas Tech football program history and get 1,168 yards, at least that much to stand alone and beat Byron there at number 1? You said yes. I think the same as well. I think that that's one of the most important things for Texas Tech to do. You hear him at media day, and the first thing that they talk about, Caleb Rogers was 1168, 1168, 1168. It's like, okay, we get it. Y'all are trying to make it happen, and good for you guys. But in terms of a bold prediction, Lyle, it can be singular in terms of a player. It could be a position group. It could be one side of the ball. It could be a team. What is your bold prediction for Texas Tech in 2024?
I think my boldest prediction would be, what do you remember? How many points we gave up last year on defense?
No, I can look it up though.
Yeah, tell me that real quick, my brother. And then I can
points per game, scoring. We've got that. And then, they scored 27. Look at defense real quick. Go ahead, though. Keep talking, and I'll figure that out for you.
Well, defense, I think, like, my bold prediction from my experience is the defense is going to take that jump. So I think that this – and once again, I don't want to say this is the best defense. It's not. But I do want to say that they'll take a bold prediction. If they gave up 27 points last year a game,
they gave up 26. So you're
26,
close.
Right? So I predict that they are under 20 this year.
Wow, under 20.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that is bold.
Bold.
Defense. I'm gonna say defense takes a massive jump.
Yeah, I do.
Why is that? Do you think it's more so because of like the depth that you were talking about earlier, or is it more so like these guys are they're just better than you thought they were?
I think that the DC is really good. I really do.
Awesome.
He's pretty good. I think that they got length and speed. They're big speed people. So they got length and speed. You go look at their DBs. Their DBs are, Lux is a little small. But other than that, these dudes are all like 6'3", 6'2", 6'5", 6'6". So they're big and they're fast. That's my number one reason. And then number two, just the schedule. Abilene Christian, I think they'll hold them under. Washington State, they'll hold them under. North Texas, they'll hold them under. Arizona State, I think they'll hold them under.
Those first 5 games are juicy.
Yeah. Cincinnati is not a big offensive scoring team. Arizona might put up some points. Like Baylor, yeah. I think Baylor is not, TCU may put up some points. Iowa State's not going to put up a bunch of points. Maybe Colorado, maybe Oklahoma State, maybe West Virginia. But I just think it's schedule mixed with the type kids they have. I just think we match up well with like Iowa State. I'm gonna be honest, like, do I think Colorado has better players? Yes, I do. Do I think West Virginia does? No. Do I think Oklahoma State has better players? Yes. Arizona State? Yes. TCU is a toss-up. But I just feel like we have better – I want to say better players, not to disrespect anyone, but I just think we have sizable – we got DBs at 6'2", 6'3". Like,
yeah.
The best corner I ever went against was Jimmy Smith, and he was a problem for me, like a super problem, and it's just length, speed is So that's my bold prediction is just the defense take a massive jump.
I'll be honest. I think just from a depth perspective, I think this is the deepest Texas Tech defense we've seen, at least since probably you were on campus, if not before then. I mean, just from the standpoint of like that secondary legitimately has 11 guys back there that can play and multiple 4-stars. I think if I did my math right, across platforms, there's 5 4-star prospects in that secondary.
Yep.
For Texas Tech right now. And then you've got the linebackers that are pivotal. I love those guys up front. You've got 6, 7 guys, the wave of interior defensive linemen, and that's what you need is a wave so you can continue to be fresh not only during the game but throughout the season. My biggest question mark for the defense overall is the pass rush. I don't know what that looks like.
Yes.
And that's I think it's okay to have that because I do think your secondary is good enough to somewhat mask it for times. There's also going to be some times where your secondary just gets cooked because your edge rushers don't get home. Like that's just going to happen. But that happens to even good teams. But yeah, that's my biggest concern. I think that they have some talent at the edge spots, does the defense, but they're so unproven outside of a game here, game there. A couple of guys are coming back from injury. It's like, I think the talent's there, but like, you got to prove it to me.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat, man. It's just offensive linemen, I don't think people realize because everyone's so huge. Everybody thinks that they're normal size. So if you've never been to an offensive line person, they are not normal size human beings. So, I look at that old line, some of the cats 6, when we play TCU Baylor, they're going to be 6'5" and above, everybody. Yeah. And so I kind of see just size-wise, we got some 6'4", 6'3", and D-line are usually a little shorter than offensive line. But that's my biggest thing.
That's the leverage, though. That's where you get that leverage.
The linebackers are great, but if you get a 6'6" dude, 315 pounds, and let me let you guys know they are the most athletic. So if you didn't know, O-linemen can dunk, like some of them can dunk in between their legs backwards. They're athletic. So I love our linebackers, but if you put a 6'6" athletic, 330-pound dude that runs a 4.7, good luck. And so I think those D-line, if they're going to be able – I think they have a great coach, Coach Fitch. I think he does a great job. I love that dude. But I think we have the cats. It's just, once again, what are you going to do? And like I said, man, the key to any football game, if you can run, they're going to run. Even in the Big 12. You can run it every time, they'll run it. And so, to me, that's the biggest issue. If you know you got 4-star DBs and you don't have to throw the ball, then why throw the ball? And so I think that's what it's going to come down to. And also, on the coaching half, what can DeRuyter do for that adjustment if we're struggling? How does he fix that? And so, to me, those are the two things I think I'm with you on that will make the difference between them scoring 30 and them scoring 20 is that D-line. And also them, I think that's probably we got some, but I think that's probably our non-deepest position on defense,
Agreed. So, I think they have like 5 guys there, but all of them are unproven. But the skill sets are there. Yeah. My bold prediction is I think 3 Red Raiders make the All Big 12 first team. This has not happened in quite a while, if ever. And the 3, well, we've already talked about 2 of them. I think Taj Brooks, respect to Ollie Gordon, but I think Taj Brooks is the best running back in the Big 12. I'm going to put him at the RB spot for that. I've already mentioned Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly makes the All Big 12 first team. And then the other guy, no, it's not on defense. It's actually surprisingly on the offensive line. The transfer from Toledo, Vinny Scurry. I think he is an All Big 12 first teamer there at left guard and an anchor for the Texas Tech offensive line to make it where they can just, hey, let's run halfback zone weak to that left side. Here you go, Taj. Run it behind the left guard. Just run it that way. I think those are the 3 guys that make the All Big 12 first team in terms of my bold prediction. I mean, I don't think it's crazy from a Taj perspective. I think a lot of people would say that. I think Josh Kelly and Scurry, however, are a little bit bold in the sense that there's some pretty damn good wide receivers in the Big 12. And that would mean Josh Kelly would be, I believe they do 3. Do they do 2 or 3? I forget. 3 wide receivers on the first team, or is it 2?
And you want to say how I know? I remember.
Okay, fair enough. There you go.
I want to throw this out too. The Big 12, y'all
Did you get hoed? Did you get hoed?
At 19 touchdowns and got 13 Big 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
TJ Moe of Nebraska, who is a tight end, and I don't even know the other slaps, but I can respect the first team they gave it to Broyles. They gave it the other one.
From Oklahoma,
Justin Blackman. He won the Blitnikoff.
Makes sense. The only other 2-time Blitnikoff winner, and then he got, if you know what I'm saying.
And then they gave the third one to Jeff Fuller from A&M, which is
I ain't gonna lie, I don't remember that guy at all.
Exactly. But that's a different story. I didn't come on here to vent. But Big 12, y'all got to do better with that, man. Like, y'all got to do better. So stop hoeing Texas Tech, man. Like, this is bad. It's bad. Do better.
I didn't expect Lyle to go on like a little bit of a mini tirade there about all Big 12 voting, but I'm honestly here for it. I'm not upset.
That pisses me off every time. I just look at it. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Anyone else have 19 touchdowns, they're All-American. I'm the only mofo that has 19 touchdowns that got 13 Big 12. Like, it's crazy. And it's your fault, Big 12.
Oh, wow.
Line balls. But anyways, I'm still for the Big 12. I love the Big 12, but let's carry on. I didn't mean to hop off on that tangent right there. Don't find me, Big 12.
And again, that's just another reason to like the podcast, because he literally does have a personal vendetta with the Big 12, at least the voting aspect of it, not the conference, the voting aspect of it. So there you go. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's transition to maybe everybody's favorite part of really just the off season, right? Everybody, Lyle, loves record predictions, right? Everybody, because 100% of them become true. I gave my record prediction already, Lyle.
What was it, brother?
I'm gonna read it off for you in terms of what I had, okay? And you're more than willing to disagree with me wherever you want. Okay, so the first 3 games, it's pretty easy, right? Like I got wins there. I think Washington State could create some issues just because it's on the road, and they're going to have a lot of built-up emotion from the standpoint of, oh, we're playing a Power 4 team. We got left out. Let's prove to them why we deserve to be in, Mm-hmm. So I get it from that perspective, but I think Texas Tech is just the superior team. I think they're a better team. So I think that they win there. So I say Texas Tech starts 3-0, goes into Arizona State in terms of that game in the Big 12. Obviously, that's at home. I have them winning that game. I also have them winning against Cincinnati. So I have the Red Raiders starting out 5-0.
Yes, sir.
5-0.
Yes, sir.
I then have them going to Arizona and losing to the Wildcats because, again, people are going to say, hey, Jed Fish left for Seattle, went up there to Washington. Like, oh, they can't be that good. Well, they kept 90% of the guys that he had there last year in terms of impact guys. So starters at Arizona that still had eligibility, most notably Noah Fafita and then Trayvon McMillan, the dynamic quarterback and wide receiver duo, arguably the best quarterback and wide receiver duo in the country. And yes, that includes Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I might take Noah Fafita and McMillan. I have them losing there. So they're 5-1. They come home and face Baylor, win. I think they beat Baylor. I think they're a better team than Baylor. Now, I will say Daquan Finn, if you don't know the name, the transfer from Toledo, the quarterback that they just named starter there at Baylor, learn the name. Dude is an absolute, and I'm not even going to say, pardon my language, a fucking tank. Okay? He can he's one of them ones. He's a good football player, but I wonder what the adjustment will be like and if they can stay healthy, because I don't think Baylor has much depth. I think Texas Tech wins that and moves to 6-1. And then this is where things get interesting. I think the last 5 games of the year, Lyle, are interesting from the standpoint of you go on the road 3 times. You're obviously at home 2. Play Colorado and West Virginia at home. You go to Fort Worth, you go to Ames, and you go to Stillwater. I have the Red Raiders losing to TCU. And the reason being is this. Do I think Texas Tech and TCU are vastly different in terms of talent? No, I think it's actually probably a coin flip. And my rationale between picking TCU is just that. Typically, when it's a coin flip game, I give it to the home team in college football. That's really it. Like, I think that game's going to be like 31-28. I think that's what it's going to be.
I got Tech winning that game.
Oh, okay. So Lyle has Tech at 7-1 at this point, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, spiciness. And then I have the Red Raiders losing in Ames as well.
Yes, sir.
So I have them at 6-3. You have them at 7-2.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to be at the Colorado game. Lyle will be as well. You think I'm going to pick the Red Raiders to lose that damn game? You're out your damn mind. I'm picking the Red Raiders to beat Shedeur, Travis, Deion. Give me the Red Raiders. You're picking Deion Sanders to win that game. No, Lyle, please, Lyle. Please, Lyle. Please.
I believe
hold on,
Lyle. I believe red and black, but
you can't be thinking that Colorado is a good football team.
Yeah.
They're not. How do you think? What have they proven? I could look stupid here in a couple of months and hand up. I'll take that L. Okay.
You ready to take it?
How do you think they're a good football team outside of the stars they have? They have no depth.
I think they have. I think that honestly, they're so media oriented. I don't think necessarily like the guys that are not getting all the pub, I think are good. I think guys that are backups that we don't know about could play at Texas Tech, not start, but play. I
agree with that. I think they could play there, yeah, but they wouldn't start.
But I think they have some cats. Like you said, his name alone gets him cats that want to go there. He got cats. Now, is he as deep as Texas Tech? No, but when you get to backups, is their backups just as good as ours, or their backups better? So depth is cool, but like I said, we talk about who's proving stuff on our team. It ain't that many because we didn't win that many games last year.
I agree. I agree from that standpoint, but also at the same time,
Travis Hunter alone is a dog, bro.
Agreed. Listen, you will not hear me say a bad thing about Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter. You won't.
But I'm just saying, like, they're good for 14 alone, if bare minimum.
The thing is this, and again, I don't like to project injuries. I really don't. Mm-hmm. Who the hell knows if Shedeur Sanders is healthy during that game? They have 5 offensive linemen that are worth it.
That's true.
Their depth on the O-line is far worse than Tech. They're starting a true freshman left tackle now, albeit he's a 5-star and a top 20 player. He's a stud. But just like we were talking about with Micah Hudson, there's an adjustment to that, right? And now it is going to be later in the year. And by this time, in my opinion, once you get to like game number 9 and 10, you're no longer a freshman. You're basically a sophomore, but you're still classified as a freshman, especially if you're playing like this guy is supposed to be.
I think they got more than what people assume.
I like Deion. I like Shedeur. I like the aesthetic of it in terms of like the media appeal of it. I really do like it. I know he rubs people the wrong way. I just don't see it. Now, but don't hear what I'm not saying. I think they make a bowl game, but I think they're 6-6.
You do?
That's what I think. I don't think that they go higher than. I think 6 wins, maybe 7 is their ceiling. I just don't think they have depth.
I agree, though. But I think they're 7 and 14 or 7, whatever it is, 7 and 5. Yeah. And I feel like Tech's 7 and 4.
No, we're gonna have to make a bet on this one. I'm gonna make you bet against the Red Raiders. I'm gonna make you do it. And we're gonna make a video when I am out there in November. We are going to make a video in person where you, as a Red Raider legend, bet against the Texas Tech Red Raiders in a night game against Deion Sanders. I'm gonna make you do. I'm gonna make you say that Jimmy Smith owns you. Okay, I'm gonna make you say that. No. There's no rebuttal here. You take that jacket off right now.
Hey, as long as you don't pull up any footage, I'm in. If you start,
I'm gonna pull up all the footage. I'm gonna pull up Jimmy Smith cakewalking your ass on the outside. Yeah,
that hurts.
That's right. And don't pull up. You know what? You can't pull up footage of me playing football. You know why? Because there isn't any. I'm a guy that talks into a microphone. So
I called you high school, and I got high school footage.
You ain't got shit. You know why? Because I didn't play.
He hooked me up. You threw a touchdown. I remember you telling me that. And
well, listen, if you find that, holy shit, send it to me, please. That'll be peak moment for me, because it's not there. But I'm gonna make this man do this. You hear this? Lyle might as well have said Deion is better than Joey. That's why I heard him. I heard you say it. You implied it with your thoughts.
I'll take Joey over Deion any day.
I'm sending this straight there. Now this is going to be a bet. this is going to be some kind of bet. This is egregious. This is damn near, may I say it, Aggie-like. Okay?
This is Aggie-like?
This is disrespectful.
They got some cats, man. They got some cats.
I agree they're good, but to say that they win,
it's a lot going on.
Blasphemous.
I think it's a lot going on that weekend.
Blasphemous.
So
blasphemous. Anyway, I have Texas Tech beating Colorado, unlike this Aggie on the other side of the screen who picked Colorado.
I'm paid to tell the truth, brother. I'm paid to tell the truth.
Well, I am telling the truth. If you squint hard enough, that jacket turns maroon. I have the Red Raiders losing in Stillwater.
Yes, sir.
And then last game of the year at home, it's the Lyle Leong Bowl. Mm-hmm. Between the Red Raiders and where you GA'd at West Virginia.
Got my master's, and Neil Brown, their head coach, is a Red Raider.
Do you remember last year how they used me in a hype video saying that they were the shittiest team in the Big 12 in an actual hype video?
Yeah, and I want to apologize. It's probably on my end because I'm friends with a lot of those.
No, that honestly, thank you. Thank you for using it because, hey, when there's an L to be had, sometimes as a man, you just got to take them. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to accept them. Just like Lyle will be doing on the night of November 9th. He's going to hold that L. Okay.
Who you got winning?
I got Texas Tech winning.
I do too.
Yeah. So you have Texas Tech going 8-4. The only game that we're different in, or the two games that we're different in, are at TCU and Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just think
I'm the same way. I got to be 8-4 as well.
On a down slope right now. Like, not that they're a down team, but just like everything, like recruiting. They usually get, like, they haven't got the guys I feel like they normally get. I feel like they've kind of been like recruiting trail. They got some cast, but they usually get a couple stunners. I haven't really, and I don't go look at who they recruited, but I feel like they haven't got the cats that they normally get, and more than me, but I just
disgusting work by you, by the way. I can't get over this Colorado shit.
Why, bro?
They have no depth. What have they proven to you?
Listen, it's the same. The notion is like they're starters. If you go for starter, yes.
If we go bar for bar, Texas Tech in terms of the 22, right, with offense and defense, I would take Texas Tech bar for bar, probably 14 to 15 starters.
Out of the 22?
Out of the 22.
You tripping.
I'm not taking Sanders, obviously. I'm not taking I am taking Sanders, sorry. And Hunter for
every
sure.
Receiver.
Yeah, Hunter.
5. Every O-lineman.
No. I'm talking individualized.
Yes, I'm saying individualized. They're O-linemen.
No. Wait. You're saying that Josh Kelly is not as good as the 4th best wide receiver for Colorado?
You said last year. This year. You talking about this year?
I'm talking this year.
Oh, this year? I mean, I think
14 or 15. I'm taking the Red Raiders.
Right now, this year?
I'm taking both linebackers. I'm taking Ben Roberts and Jacob Rodriguez for sure.
I had to do more research, but I think I don't know, man.
I would probably take Baskerville. That's pretty close.
I just don't know. I don't know their roster like that to make that sense.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I think that's the issue is like, please do not hear what I'm not saying. Colorado has talent outside of those star guys. They obviously are playing at a Power 5 or Power 4 level. Like,
right.
They're talented dudes. But the thing is I think they are so star heavy, right? And they did a decent job in the portal, but they're so star heavy. I just don't know if they can survive. Like, let's just say, God forbid, Shedeur Sanders gets hurt.
Yeah.
They're winning 2 games max.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I pulled it up the roster just so I'm not.
They got some good players on there. I'm not saying that they don't, but there is a huge gap between their top players and then like the next tier. It may be like tier 1, and then the next closest players to them is like tier 4.
Like Hayden is pretty dang good.
They've got good play. Yeah, they got some guys from Houston. I know they got in the portal. They have solid players, but I don't see them coming in late in the year where let's just play the hypothetical here, right?
Mm-hmm.
let's say Colorado is, well, what would Texas Tech be at that point? We would have them, or I guess we'd be different there. But I would have Texas Tech going into the Colorado game at 6-3. You would have them at 7-2. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's say, for argument's sake, they're 7-2. Let's say Colorado comes in and they are what? I don't know.
Say what you said, 6-3 or 4-5.
4-5 at that point. Like, they're going to have a lot to play for. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's the Jones at night, raucous environment. And the Jones is going to be louder than maybe we've ever heard it outside of the games that you played in, for the sheer standpoint of Texas Tech is 7-2.
Yeah.
They're a top 20 team if that's the case.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm thinking of not even just on the field stuff. I'm thinking of stuff that Colorado and really Texas Tech, their team can't control either, and that's just the rowdiness of the fans. If you tell me right now that we're going into a game where Texas Tech is 7-2, I don't have a voice for 3 weeks after.
That's true. I mean, I don't deny any of that. I don't. I just, like I said, my thing, I don't think we've ever lost a night game. So I'm all for the night game. I'm undefeated in night games, but I don't know, bro.
Looks very maroonish.
I don't know. Hey, y'all people save this podcast, because I promise you. I
promise you this. I promise you I'm going to win the bet. I promise you we're going to win the bet. I'm going to send this to Joey McGuire.
But if they lose,
Joey McGuire. Coach, the DM is coming. The DM is coming.
Hey, I promise, if they lose, you're going to wear a Leong Jr. shirt for the next 3 podcasts.
Send it to me.
With a helmet on.
Do it. I got one behind me. It doesn't fit, though. I got a big ass head.
I'll get Zane P to send you another.
Okay, yeah, that shit don't fit. I got a big ass head.
You will wear a helmet and Leon backwards.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I'll do it happily. Like, I feel like you listen. 7-2 Texas Tech. That play's gonna be crazy.
It is gonna be crazy, but
we're going off of your prediction. I have them at 6-3 at that point. But
I like I said, I think they got some cats.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. To you. Like, I don't think, like I said, they got Patrick. Not Patrick. I'm thinking of Patrick. They got Travis Hunter. They got Horn Jr. They got some cats.
They got some dogs.
But
the thing is like their top 6 or 7. What's the drop off from 7 to 20? It's drastic.
Brother, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. We got like a couple more too, but we're not. This is maybe the deepest, but it's a drop off.
That's what I'm saying. No, like they have more star power. That's not a question.
I'm saying from our first and seconds, it's still a drop off. Like, I know you're saying major drop off, and it's still.
No, I think the biggest thing for me, and I don't think I'm doing a good job of vocalizing this, but like Colorado for sure has the stars.
Right.
The clear as day. Right?
Like, all right, let's put it like this. This is what I'm thinking. Like, all right,
if we're just doing stars for Texas Tech and Colorado, Colorado's up here.
Okay, let's start with that. Okay, and then you say their backups and our backups. Where would you put their backups and our backups?
Okay, so now we're reshuffling it. We're talking about backups. We're talking just strictly backups.
Talk about star power, right? Yeah. You give the edge to Colorado.
Yeah,
right?
Depth though. We're talking depth.
And then next thing we're going to backups. What's the difference? Drop off from backups. You think Texas Tech this much from Colorado?
Yes. The reason being is and maybe it's just a personal thing for me. I don't think you can win primarily recruiting just in the portal. I don't think you can do it. And that's why Dion is the great experiment. And again, I think this is hot takey. I think this is his last year at Colorado.
You think that's right?
Oh, no, I think he leaves.
For real?
His son's done. What does he have to stay there for?
Where's he going to go?
I don't know, but he'll find someplace.
No,
I think he's done. I think he's done after this year. But that might be a hot take. But I think that the thing is that I don't think you can win, even in modern college football, just strictly building through the portal. They are the great experiment because you look at it, they have abysmal high school classes. I mean, just awful. Now, they get some stars in the high school ranks. I mean, McClain already transferred out. He's at Florida now, I think.
He's a walk-on at Florida.
Yeah. But they did get the 5-star left tackle who was going to start for them, right?
Right.
Stud. He's a stud. But outside of him, Lyle, they signed a bunch of me's.
I don't know, bro.
They signed a bunch of me's.
But that's like going back to me, see, and I just different on that. That's like going back to Mike Leach and my class with me saying that they signed a bunch of, because I was a 2-star. I would not get I didn't get no other offers. So you can't.
They're freshmen though.
But
like, that's the thing.
But you can't say what they are become or how good they will be. So like that's what I'm saying. Like just because they're not getting the stars doesn't mean that they're not necessarily Deion don't see. So that's where I feel differently. Like Deion knows the game. So if he's bringing someone on, they're obviously pretty good. Now, are they the star power? No, but he's not bringing on a slap. And that's what I'm saying. Like Mike Leach never brought on slaps. When he went and got Eric Morris, who was 5'5", there's no way the other Power 5 team said, oh, dang, we missed out on a 5'5" receiver, a white guy from Shallow. There's no way that they said that. But Emo is a dog and a beast when it came out to there. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's that same type deal. Like, he's good at knowing who's good and like that. And if you go look at ours, Danny, another one, Wes Welker, another one, like, we're the only school to get small white dudes that turn out to be really good at receiver. Like, you tell me other places that do that. And if you go look at the roster and you see Danny and you see Emo and you see Wes Welker, you look at their 40 times, you do all that, there's no way that you say, oh, going into the game, there's no way that those guys are good. Danny played in the NFL, got Super Bowls. Emo had a great career. Wes Welker is one of the greatest of all time. So you can't – I just feel differently. Like, either you know talent or you don't. And Deion's proved
I agree with that.
Talent.
I agree with that. The thing is like it's the portal. That aspect's really like well, I love the portal. I think the portal's a great thing. I think that guys should have, that flexibility because Lord knows coaches do.
But
right,
JUCO range. If you ever look at the JUCO range too, that's how JUCOs, the best JUCOs ever, most of the time get a bunch of transfer kids.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't
but there's levels to it. This isn't JUCO. This is Power 4 football.
I'm just saying, like, I think there's a method to his madness. Like, and I agree.
There is too, but I just don't know if it's going to work right away.
I agree to what you're saying, but I don't know. I just think that I don't know. I just think that I'm not saying that it will work and it can work, but I see the idea, and I think for him to go to a school that hasn't won one game and win all the games he did last year, and then people be like, man, what a disappointing season. These folks ain't won in 10 years, bro. He went in there.
No, what he did last year, I mean.
But that's what I'm saying.
People have to realize they went from 1 to 4. Like, that's impressive.
That's huge. Like, and they got moved in. So I'm just saying, like, not only did he get moved into, I don't want to say a weaker conference because that's not the case, but the teams that they played last year, to me, are
there's more parity in the Big 12 though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
it's not as good as the Pac-12 was at the top last year.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. So the team that they do play, cool, but they had to play USC and Utah. Like, people take that for granted. Like, this year in the Big 12, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I tell you that all the time. It's a big difference that Oklahoma and Texas ain't in here. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm not a Texas fan, not an Oklahoma fan. It's a big difference when you look on your schedule. Texas Tech schedule right now does not look how it looked when I played. Like, and it's no disrespect to them, but you had Mizzou when they were good, Kansas when they was good, Texas, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. You had 7 teams that was in the top 25. Like, at the end of this Big 12, I wouldn't be surprised if there's less than 4 teams in the top 25. You know what I'm saying?
4 is probably that number.
And and we're talking at the higher end. Like, so I think, like, that's the part that people are leaving out. Like, they were going against top notch, and not that Texas Tech isn't, but we're not getting the same recruits as USC. We're not getting the same recruits as
Oregon. They're not Oregon. They're not Oregon.
Exactly.
That's fair to say. But I think that's not the issue I have, because I'm right there with you on the Colorado thing. In the sense of, like, I think Deion is a good coach. He rubs people the wrong way. Cool, whatever. That's your own personal preference.
True.
I just don't know if, again, and this could be a detriment to me and my way of thinking in college football, but I just don't think you can win strictly going through the portal. I just don't think. I still think the best way to be a great program is to use the portal for pieces that you need, in the sense of, hey, we thought this guy was going to be good after high school. He wasn't. All right, let's go get somebody from the portal and do a plug and play. Perfect example is Vinny Scurry at left guard. They needed that. So they did that. Texas Tech did. But Colorado went out, and I think they added 50+ kids from the portal. I just don't think that that's the way to win. And again, we're backtracking. This turned into a Colorado podcast somehow. But I mean, there will be a bet. I will more than happily wear a helmet. I will wear Leong across my shirt. I will do that. We'll figure out your side though. We're gonna figure something out for you.
Say less.
Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly what it is yet, but we'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. You know what I might have to do? I might just, we might have to just race and I win and you have that on film for the rest of your life.
I think you might do that in real life.
No, I would not pull a hammy.
I don't think you have to do the bet for that one, brother. I pulled my hamstring running the other day, brother.
No, 3 steps in, I'm out. 3 steps in, I'm out. But yeah, might have to do something like that. Anyways,
I respect that.
I think that's going to do it for today's podcast because, listen, that was a lot of fun there. There was a little bit of heatedness there in the sense of Lyle turning maroon on us. That was not what I was expecting in the first one back.
It's all love, my people.
It is what it is. Lyle, tell the people where they can find you.
Hey, you can find me at Coach LLEONG, and you can find the GOAT of our podcast, greatest of all time, ESPN Denial, because he didn't want to go there. Talk to me.
I try my best on that front. Yeah, you can find me at RCNB323. If you haven't already, be sure to like the podcast, hit that subscribe button, go follow Lyle on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. You can follow me on Twitter as well. Sure. And hey, it's football season, baby. We're so freaking back. We're so freaking back. We'll catch y'all next time.